Sandra, okay. Dr. Sandra Mutilva is a healthcare leader, educator, entrepreneur, and a researcher specializing in artificial intelligence applications in women's health and education. She holds a PhD in organizational leadership from Adler University in Chicago and an executive MBA from the Tefla School of Management. She's a lecturer in the Midwifery Education Program at Toronto Metropolitan University and a consultant where she shares her expertise in healthcare strategy policy and AI integration. She's a former registered midwife in Canada from 2004 to 2018. Dr. Mutilva earned her midwifery degree in Argentina in 1994 and practiced there until 2002 with extensive global clinical experience. She's a consultant and expert witness in obstetrical, newborn care, and healthcare system performance. She holds the Certified Health Executive designation from the Canadian College of Health Leaders and earned several AI and machine learning certifications. She is dedicated to advancing healthcare equity, diversity, and inclusion. Her research focuses on AI's role in midwifery and healthcare, exploring its potential to enhance decision-making and patient outcomes. She's also the consultant in Femtech and an advocate for women's leadership mentorship. She mentors women in STEM, in innovation, supporting their growth in entrepreneurship. Additionally, she serves as a board member for community health organizations. An advocate, she's an advocate for ethical AI implementation. Dr. Mutilva works on policy development, healthcare innovation, and organizational leadership. Her consultancy provides evidence-based strategies for integrating AI into healthcare while ensuring it aligns with professional values and enhances patient care. So she'll be making her presentation on leveraging artificial intelligence to advance midwifery practices, a systemic review of innovations and challenges. Please help me in welcoming Sandra Mutilva. Sandra, over to you.
Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction. And I am very happy to be here and very thankful to the VIDM committee for allowing all of us to share our research and our work around the globe and to have this to reach in everybody. And so I am extremely thankful for this. And so I want to start by saying hola. I know that there are some colleagues. I am Argentinian, so they are there as well as my Canadian colleagues as well. So I am in Ottawa, Canada. So I think that you can see my screen, right? So I would like to begin by acknowledging that the land we gather is the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. These people have lived in this land since time immemorial, and I am grateful to have the opportunity to present in this territory. So this systematic review is kind of an extension of my doctoral work. My PhD dissertation was based in the application of AI in women's health. So I just wanted to learn a little bit more what was happening in the world of midwifery regarding this discipline about AI. So this review summarizes the evidence based on AI in midwifery to date, highlighting its benefits, limitations, and risk, and presents a series of recommendations for midwifery educators, researchers, clinicians, and policy that could be applicable in different areas of the world. The review results aims to provide useful insights for other profession, patients, and clinicians, along with also leaders on how AI might impact healthcare and also midwifery provision of care and also education. So during the pandemic, we observed that there was like an explosion of technology. You know, the example was virtual care, that everybody moves extremely fast from personal care to virtual care, and that happened very, very fast. And despite the fact that the pandemic has ended a few years ago, currently the advances of AI is in full swing. AI continues to grow to a rapid rate, extremely fast, with an average of annual growth rate of 33% of research papers in healthcare and medical magazines and journals. So this also brings an opportunity for midwives to start researching in this area, because I'm going to be talking during the presentation, but there is a big gap in terms of the researching needs in this particular discipline. So people are asking me why you were a midwife, why you are researching in this particular area. And that is true. I am not an engineer. I am not a computer scientist. However, artificial intelligence is a social phenomenon, also beside being a technical challenge for many of us. So AI has shaped the way that we communicate, that we research, that we shop, that even we receive and provide healthcare. So sooner or later, the midwifery values and the midwifery profession is going to be impacted. So it is important, because other professions are ahead of midwifery in terms of development and involvement. So my aim is to bring a little bit of awareness to all of you, and also to inspire. And if you're concerned about this particular topic, to start researching and to start inquiring about this. So I'm going to be a little bit technical here, but this is technology. And so artificial intelligence is a umbrella term. And the concept that I acquired for my research is the one from the Organization for Economic and Cooperation and Development, the OECD, that defines an artificial intelligence system as a machine-based system that can, for a given set of human-defined objectives, make predictions, recommendations, or decisions influencing real or virtual environments. There are other concepts out there about AI, like, for example, the MIT. And the one that I adopted for my doctoral work was the concept from the European Union. But for this work, I found that this one is a little more condensed. So as I mentioned, AI is a umbrella term, and is composed by different disciplines like robotics, machine learning. Machine learning have maybe branches like supervised and unsupervised machine learning, decision trees. So if you are a researcher and you are a policy developer or maker, probably you are using decision trees in your work, and decision trees is a form of machine learning. Then we have neural networks, deep learning, and these two, if you are interested in this topic, you are going to find these two particular disciplines used in medicine right now for maybe predictive analytics, also for personalized medical care. These two disciplines are highly used in radiology so the, imaging diagnostics. Physicians use these two disciplines to read as an aid to read ultrasound, X-rays, and MRIs. And then we have the generative AI that I'm sure that all of you are using. The most popular ways are those chatbots that we are all using, that is like ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, Copilot, depends in the area of the world where you are. You might be using some of those tools to create content, to help you during your research projects, for writing aid. There is infinite use of generative AI that is out there. So AI has mainly 7 different use cases, and all of us are applicable to midwifery: hyperpersonalization, conversation and human interaction, pattern and anomaly detection, recognition, goal-driving systems, predictive analytics and decision support, and autonomous systems. So these are the form of, I am in the West, let's put it that way, that so these are the form of artificial intelligence that I know. Where I am in Canada, artificial intelligence is regulated by Bill 27, which is, its name is AIDA, which is Artificial Intelligence Data Act, that since I have been doing research has been under review. And in fact, I had participated in some task force and webinars related to the modification of the act. In the USA, it was Bill 7913 that regulated AI. However, President Trump removed all the barriers of AI development for innovation through an executive order. If you're in Europe, AI is regulated by the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, but in other areas of the world, AI is not as regulated as probably where I am. So it may be other forms of artificial intelligence that exist out there that we are not aware. In some countries, artificial intelligence is used not only by big corporations, but also by small and even family business. So the main problem or the main challenge that AI has is that, different from a standard physical product, where the relationships between the makers, the supply chain, retailers, and consumer is linear. In the case of artificial intelligence, there is a significant overlap and exchange of the AI in the exchange of the AI ecosystem between the developers, between the vendors, and the end users. So it remains a question about accountability. Who is responsible for an AI deployment and application? And the other aspect is that most of these systems are developed by technical people, engineers, and the layer of healthcare providers or healthcare clinicians come very later in the game. And this is something that is extremely important, especially for midwifery right now. So this is a little bit about the process of this systematic literature review. A systematic review aims to provide a definitive answer to a defined question with conclusions that can inform clinical guidelines, policy, or future research. So based in what I learned during my doctoral work, I found that AI technologies, so we don't need a hypothesis when we are designing a systematic literature review, as you might know. So, so the assumption that I had when I started this study is that AI technologies are expected to improve decision-making, clinical outcomes, and personalized care in midwifery by automatic routine tasks, enhancing diagnostic accuracy, and providing predictive analytics. So the research questions I designed is that what are the potential benefits and challenges of integrating AI technologies in midwifery practice to enhance decision-making and improve client outcomes across prenatal, labor, and postnatal care. Some people are asking me why I started with a systematic review, considering that is quite, for the one of you who have done this kind of research, it's a little bit more complex than probably an scoping review. So the answer is that I choose a systematic review instead, maybe another form of literature review, because I wanted to answer this specific question. The focus on the, research about the integration of AI midwifery practices. So given the critical need for evidence-based conclusion in healthcare, a systematic review allows for a comprehensive and rigorous synthesis of the evidence, including the quality assessment of the included studies. So as you know, this approach enables the researcher to provide clear recommendations for practice and policy, contributing to the advancement of knowledge in this area. So the population, for everybody who is familiar with the PICO question, the population that I started, of course, with midwifery. However, there were a handful of articles out there that had midwives as primary investigators in this discipline. They were mainly in Europe. There were some in the USA. Other main investigators were in Africa, and others were in Southeast Asia. So I needed to expand a little bit the search, including nursing, OBGYN, obstetricians and gynecologists, and then perinatal providers that are using AI or are investigating in AI that could be applicable to the work that midwives do. For the intervention, of course, it was AI technologies, and the comparison was midwifery care without AI integration. So the diagram that you see in the slide is the preferred reporting items for systematic review and meta-analysis, which is the PRISMA flow diagram that shows the process of selection of the studies. In terms of when you are doing any kind of literature review, especially a systematic literature review, you need to do some kind of bias appraisal. So I use these two tools, the Cochrane risk bias tool, especially for to evaluate the outcomes of randomized controlled trials. And then for the qualitative synthesis, I use the Ottawa-Melbourne collaboration tool. So if you want to learn a little bit more about these tools, you can contact me offline. And as you know, every single, for the narrative of the study, the theoretical framework that I used was the technological acceptance model theory that this is a kind of a new model and is using technology when, healthcare providers are evaluating technology, and this particular theory was created in the early 90s. So moreover, systematic literature review requires registration and requires approval of your protocol. So the PROSPERO, which is the International Prospective Register of Systematic Review, is at the University of York in England, and they began to develop an international prospective register of systematic review with healthcare-related outcomes. And the objective is to reduce unplanned duplications of reviews and provide transparency in the review process. So if you have done a systematic review, it's quite rigorous to get approved by Prospero. So these were, let's get into the outcomes, the results. So I started with around 1,700 studies, and of course I used technology, and I use a software called Covidence that is widely used if you are doing systematic review to curate your studies. And I also use NVivo. So if you are a qualitative research, NVivo is a software that is used for qualitative analysis to code sentences and text. I also use RefWork to organize the references. And so the main databases that I leverage were Scopus, EMBASE, PubMed, and then the cumulative index to nursing and allied health literature, which is the CINAHL. So the results of this review, so there were 102 articles that were included, and the midwife's involvement in artificial intelligence varied. So from some of the articles that where midwives have active role in testing and using or evaluating AI-based technology as main investigators. However, as I mentioned, many studies did not include the profession at all. AI was mainly applied for clinical practice to direct patient care. There were a few studies focusing on administration and management, and that caught my attention because other professions, like for example nursing, there is lots of studies in where the profession leverage administration and management in terms of AI application. The benefits reported were primarily potential, as most studies have trained and tested the use of algorithms in organizations or regions. And risk and limitations found in the literature include poor quality data sets that could introduce bias, the need for clinical interpretation of AI-based results for midwives, and also privacy and trust issues, and inadequate AI expertise among midwifery. So considering the opportunities for research that are out there, it would be great if midwives start to understanding more this topic and be involved in as many investigators or because there is lots of opportunities, and I'm going to get into that through the presentation. So artificial intelligence technology advancements could make it possible to utilize in midwifery fields to improve decision-making, provide better care for clients, and enhance performance of healthcare systems. So AI can support midwives in clinical decision-making in complex care situations. or conduct tasks that are remote from direct client interaction, such as virtual care and documentation processes. So virtual care, for example, some form of virtual care leverage artificial intelligence to create visualization and aurialization of care services. So aurialization in this kind of service in healthcare is a procedure designed to model and simulate the experience of an acoustic phenomena in using sound. So I was able to observe one system that used aurialization for a family physician, and the system was sending to the physician sound alerts. And indeed, this patient, so what it does is analyze the voice of the individual, of the patient. And indeed, this patient was suffering from depression. This is one of the things that this technology can do for in healthcare. And then there are some chatbots that have been used in midwifery, especially in remote regions where clients can find midwives in the regions without the need to start calling or having any kind of human interaction, and book appointments themselves and choose where is the unavailable midwives in their regions. This particular kind of chatbot, to put an example, can save money in administration and tasks for midwives and also for healthcare systems. So, and generative AI, we know that patients use generative AI. There is no question that probably your patient or your client, before coming and seeing you, is researching about their care or asking ChatGPT about how the pregnancy is development, or which kind of questions they can ask to the midwives. Or to you. They can also evaluate their lab works. So not only generative AI can be used by you as a clinician, but also you know that your clients are using it. Generative AI also is used in some hospitals are implementing generative AI. For example, here where I am in Ontario, there is a hospital that is called St. Michael Hospital that is using generative AI in their systems, and is reading patients' vital signs or different results that for the patients that are admitted, that are inside of the hospital, and sending alerts. And this system has been studied and it has been published and reduced by 26% the unexpected death of admission of patients that are admitted at the hospital. And then we have the robotic technology. So there is lots of companies that are developing robots in healthcare. From not only from service robots that bring food to patients, but also there are robots that are also bringing medication to patients, and that is also allowing nursing to focus in another task. During the literature review that I did, also I found a hospital that published about a robot that is taking patients from the trauma unit to the ER, to the OR, in seconds, comparing with minutes that will take any human. And you know that what happened during, so if there is trauma, time is very important, and has reduced the mortality of patients. But they are not only robotic technology using for a patient, but there is also some companies that are using robotic technology for healthcare providers. There is a company that developed what is called exoskeletons that are used, surgeons are using it. What the system do is a body scan of the surgeon or the healthcare providers. So you know that sometimes surgeons are standing up for a long period of time during a surgery or during procedures. So that is also something that midwives can easily leverage in their, after practicing midwifery 30 years of my life, I have lots of back issues. And I think that, as you know, midwifery is not a very ergonomic profession. Sometimes we have to adopt crazy positions to support our clients. So it would be great if organizations that are also deploying in this kind of technology insertions can do in another healthcare providers. So, as this technology develops, and this is just a high level technology development that I presented. There is more and more every day in terms of research, publishing, and in terms of technology development for healthcare providers. So new challenges emerge with AI integration in healthcare. And one of those for midwives are the explainability. So explainability is one of the issues or one of the domain of in ethics. So how you as a midwife will be able to explain to a client what the system is doing for them and also for you. So that's why AI technology requires an ethical approach, an ethical understanding from the profession. So AI, as I mentioned, requires involvement and understanding of the implications. So it's very important to understand too that AI, the use of AI in midwifery can be an auxiliary tool, and it cannot be considered a substitute. And this is for every single profession. As you know, I am also involved in some aspect of business. There was an article published by the Healthcare Business Review, and there is currently 11 billion in venture capital invested in AI research in healthcare. So this is an incredible amount of money that it could be it could be great if midwives start to work with vendors or with researchers, because there are companies that want to also test their products, and that could also help for midwives to in their research projects. So and this is why it caught my attention during the reviews that midwives are not taking advantage of this this kind of research development. So some of the key benefits is to assist with diagnostic accuracy. Lots and lots of devices right now are using AI. For example, in terms of devices production, the most recent database showed that a total of 950 devices were approved by the FDA in 2024, comparing with only 26 devices in 2017. So you will need, if you want to quantify this, you will need to use an exponent. So as I mentioned, risk assessment and patient monitoring. There is also a study that I don't know if you're familiar, if you're in the state, probably you hear about the Maven doula. So the Maven doula leverage AI and is a virtual doula. And the study showed that clients or pregnant people that had an interaction with the doula for more than in two or more occasions, decrease their chances of C-section by 20%. And the most people that were more, there was more beneficial from the tool were racialized people, because in some places in the world, doulas are very expensive. So this tool was for clients that they were enrolled in the Maven program.
Hello, Sandra.
Yes.
Kindly start winding up. We're running out of time.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Sorry.
Good. Thank you.
To interrupt you.
So
I'm so sorry. But we need to
I'm going to move. I'm going
up.
to move with the conclusions then. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you. So, I am very passionate about this. So, in the integration of AI in midwifery is not as a future possibility, but an emerging reality that can significantly enhance clinical practice and outcomes. So recognizing AI as a tool in midwifery underscores the need for preparedness within the profession. This includes comprehensive training programs, continuous professional development, and support government frameworks from regulatory bodies to ensure ethical and effective implementation. So the evidence from this systematic review highlights the urgent need for the midwifery profession to organize for the integration of AI, ensuring that it enhances rather than disrupt the professional values and the care provided to clients. So these are the references for this presentation. And thank you so much, and I am open to questions.
Thank you very much, Sandra. A great presentation. Actually, the first thing I took note of at the beginning, you said AI integration is not just a technical challenge, but also a social one, where relationships, ethics, and professional values are impacted. That stood out very interestingly for me. We need to start winding up. However, there's some comments. There's one here I'm reading that says, wonderful insight. I'm not sure whether you can read your comments. Wonderful insight, Sandra. Can you provide a concrete example from the literature of how an AI tool has demonstrably improved a specific midwifery outcome or workflow? Maybe you can look at that.
So they are not many, because midwives has not been involved in this kind of research. Most of the studies in which midwives have been involved has been testing or have been doing some kind of research related to products. But however, the literature shows that midwives can I don't want to say easily, but what this kind of technology offers, it can be applicable to improve and to decrease sand fatigue, for example, that happen in the profession. Like, for example, documentation, right? Midwives, you know, some of these tools used can help to aid in this aspect. There is some, so just to put an example.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sandra.